They tried to cover it up, but when Sara Jacobs confronted Marco Rubio about Trump's secret UAE business deals, the entire room went silent. Don't miss the end.
So on April 30th, the Trump Organization, which Donald Trump still owns, unveiled plans to build an 80-story Trump Tower in Dubai. Then on May 1st, Trump's crypto company, World Liberty Financial, secured a $2 billion deal with an Emirati company with deep ties to the government. And only 11 days later, on May 12th, your department notified our committee that it would ignore Ranking Member Meek's holds on UAE arms sales. Secretary Rubio, we have a president who is personally profiting from a deal with a foreign government-backed company at the same time he is selling lethal weapons to that same government. Isn't that a clear conflict of interest?
I think no matter who was president, they would have to deal with the UAE. We have to. They're a member.
That's not my question. We can have a policy debate about how we should engage with the UAE.
You're making claims about corruption, and I'm answering that any president in the United States, I don't care who the president is, would have to deal with the UAE. They're a member of the Abraham Accords, number one. They've been incredibly cooperative on a bunch of other issues. We don't agree with them on 100%. We have concerns about some of the things they do, but this is called the balancing of foreign policy.
Secretary
It is in
Rubio,
our national interest to have a good relationship with the UAE, despite the fact that there are things we do we don't like.
Secretary Rubio, I don't disagree with you. I just visited the UAE a couple weeks ago and had these very same conversations there, but I don't think this is a complicated question. President Trump is personally profiting from a deal with a foreign government while selling weapons to that same government who is enabling a genocide. Policy aside, are you really saying you don't think this is a conflict of interest?
No, you're making claims. The president's family owns a business, and they can conduct business anywhere in the world they want. The president's never once raised business deals in UAE when talking about it. Any president would have to have a relationship with the UAE.
Secretary Rubio,
the
that's
previous
just
administration
silly.
had one too.
President Trump has retained his ownership of these companies, and I have an image right here from World Liberty Financial's website. So the idea that President Trump is not the face of the brand of this company on top from benefiting from them, and it literally says on the website that Mr. Trump and his family members own a 60% stake in this company, that's silly. So we can talk about the policy merits. That's not what I'm asking you. I'm asking you a very simple question. Do you believe it's a conflict of interest to have a president personally profiting from a deal with a foreign government while selling weapons to that same government who's enabling a genocide?
I don't accept the premise of your question. I think this has nothing to do with personally benefiting from anything. This has to do with the fact that in order to conduct foreign policy in the Middle East, you're going to have to deal with the UAE.
Mr. Secretary, this is a clear conflict of interest, and anyone with any common sense can see that. The president is personally benefiting from billions of dollars of deals, and he doesn't care at all about the people of Sudan who are experiencing famine and genocide. It's shocking to me that you can't admit that. It's clear that you seem more concerned about staying in Trump's good graces than sticking up for human rights and American values that you once were a champion for. With that, I'm going to yield the remainder of my time to Representative Olszewski.
Well, you make these claims about staying in good graces. You accuse people of being
reclaiming my time,
corrupt.
Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Secretary. I appreciate a
UAE.
softball for you, yes or no, since I don't have a lot of time, and I appreciate it. The chairman gives me a few seconds back. Softball for you. Would you, yes or no, as Secretary, find it outrageous for you to solicit or accept a $200,000 Rolls-Royce from a foreign government for personal or State Department use?
That offer's never been made to me.
Yes, so you would reject that offer?
The offer of a Rolls-Royce?
Yes.
I don't understand the purpose of that question.
You would.
That's a silly question.
The fact that you can't answer the question,
I
Mr.
just
Secretary,
answered. I said it's silly.
Silly because you would accept it or not?
Of course not. Who would accept it? But
Well,
no one's
then I think you should maybe perhaps,
Mr.
Secretary, reclaim my time. I think you are an honorable man by most accounts, but the man that you work for doesn't. And the fact that he is soliciting and accepting a $400 million plane is problematic. And you should know about it. It came up in a Senate hearing. You should read about it, add it to your reading, because it is problematic for foreign policy. It adds to the corruption that my colleague just said. And I hope you speak out against it. Thank you.
This exchange between Representative Sara Jacobs and Secretary Marco Rubio reveals more than just a policy disagreement. It exposes a deep and troubling conflict at the heart of American foreign policy, where personal business interests collide, with matters of life, death, and international trust. And what makes this moment so explosive is not only the clear timeline she laid out. Trump Tower Dubai announced on April 30th, Trump's crypto company landing a $2 billion deal on May 1st, and weapons sales to the UAE cleared only 11 days later. But also Rubio's refusal to acknowledge the obvious conflict of interest, instead hiding behind vague statements about any president needing to work with the UAE. A dodge so blatant it only strengthens Jacobs' point. What makes this even more shocking is that while Sudanese civilians face famine, genocide, and displacement, the US president is portrayed as prioritizing profit over people, striking multi-million-dollar deals while his administration provides lethal weapons to the very government accused of supporting atrocities. And when Jacobs presses Rubio with undeniable evidence, the company website showing Trump's ownership stake, he still refuses to admit the conflict, exposing how deep political loyalty and corruption may run. The later moments, where Jacobs' colleague compares a hypothetical Rolls-Royce bribe to Trump allegedly benefiting from a $400 million plane, drive home how absurd it is to pretend there's no ethical issue here. And it's this absurdity that makes the hearing both infuriating and fascinating to watch. The conclusion we're left with is chilling. If leaders can openly profit from foreign governments while directing US foreign policy and face no accountability, then the entire system of checks and balances meant to protect democracy is at risk. But it's also riveting because moments like this peel back the curtain and force us to ask, how much corruption are we willing to accept before the public demands change? And what happens the next time a personal deal collides with American foreign policy? The hearing shows us that sometimes the most important truths aren't hidden in classified files, but right there in plain sight, denied only by those who hope we stop asking questions. And that's why this confrontation matters. It's not just about Sudan or the UAE. It's about whether we still believe in holding leaders accountable when profit collides with principle. And watching Rubio squirm under Jacobs' relentless questioning is proof that sometimes the truth doesn't need to be shouted. It just needs to be laid out step by step until there's nowhere left to hide. And that's why this moment will stay with anyone who truly cares about democracy, human rights, and the integrity of American leadership. Because the question is no longer whether corruption exists, but whether anyone is willing to call it out. And in this case, Jacobs did. And the silence on the other side spoke louder than any denial. And if you found this breakdown as revealing as I did, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Drop your thoughts in the comments and stay tuned, because more eye-opening reactions like this are coming your way.